Oh, yeah! Happy Comic Book Day +1, and welcome back all you four-color funny book aficionados. This is US Comics Cast, HQ for all things comic book connected. We collectively are John and Charlie Rivera, the co-founders of US Comics. Charlie, happy Comic Book Day observed.
Happy Comic Book Day observed to you and to everyone listening and watching today. As always, we are brought to you by Bad Mary Band and Sergeant Finesse Gaming. If you haven't done so already, please smash that like and or follow button and hit that comment section like you're fighting a thember child for a hot MLT sandwich.
Ooh, a nice mutton, lettuce, and tomato when the mutton is nice and lean. Ooh, I love that. Ooh, chubby ass dragon. Now, before I think, Charlie, we have a responsibility to the loyal followers, both of them, to explain ourselves when changes occur. Obviously, they will jump all over us, even if our screens are on the wrong side. We'll hear about it real quick. Now, here we are, clearly going to be talking about Dungeons and Dragons, Honor Among Thieves. However, we are indeed a day late. So I'm going to throw Charlie a little curveball. Charlie, you have some explaining to do. Now, Charlie, tell all the good people where the hell you were yesterday.
I have a lot of things in this world that I pay no mind to. Ex-girlfriends, friends, family members,
partners,
brothers on occasion.
Co-founders.
There is only one thing that could drag me away from this weekly podcast, and that, of course, is the man himself, Tony Khan, personally invited me to the UBS Center where the Islanders play and no one gives a fuck for a night of wrestling action. That's right, the owner of AAW allowed me to pay thousands of dollars to bring a couple friends to the primo seats sitting next to MJF's mom and hot-ass family. I was live for Dynamite. I don't know if you're
talking about the man's mother, bro.
I was live for Dynamite, and it started off in like a way that I did not expect, and that's the cutthroat era of AEW. Jay White made his debut with the Bullet Club logo behind him.
You're talking about my new favorite wrestler, as I've been informed?
Yeah, I've declared it. It is decided.
Fair enough.
AEW, for those of you lucky enough to not hear me rant about it, AEW is the best thing that happened to me in the last few years, and it's not even fucking close. I love me some pro wrestling, and I don't think anyone does it as fun as AEW. Like Ring of Honor before them. Like Ring of Honor in its prime.
The spiritual successor.
And now Owner. That's like the real shit where Tony Khan's like, what's that? You love Ring of Honor? Let me go ahead and get the whole library. Give me $10 a month. I'll let you see it again.
That's like when you have your side chick is hanging out with your girl. You're like, oh, I don't know if I like this, but we'll let it happen. Let's play this out.
No, it was honestly, the only downside was that you weren't there. You had other shit to do. But I literally, UBS Center may have my money forever because I did something called the Spotlight Club. There was like a lounge. There was free eats. There was a guy making pasta. Oof. I was getting fed booze by the can. You know, I'm watching the calories, so I had 12 White Claws.
Was there like a live carving MLT station? You're like, ooh, let me get one of those.
Absolutely. My favorite part, though, was it sounds so stupid, but I need this at every sporting event I go to in the future. There was a coat rack. Like, I was able to put my coat away, so I didn't have to have it, like, behind me or, God forbid, on for the whole event. I was so comfy.
Or sitting on it. You get up to the whole... Why does my coat smell like farts? Oh, now I remember.
Just a real quick aside. The guy in front of me, God bless him, was a little annoying. Had a fucking sign. There was one dude in front of me. He kept trying to hold up a sign. I was like, no, bitch. I paid too much to see the back of your handwritten sign. Yeah, no one sees that. No one likes it.
Good,
but
bro.
I told him about the coat rack.
Don't be a sign guy, man. Don't be a sign guy ever.
He had such a thick coat for spring. And I go, hey, man, just so you know, where you're getting those free, like, you know, potato skins that you love so much, because he was getting by the fucking tray full. I was like, there's a coat rack. You can hang your coat. He's like, oh, no, it's not bothering me if it's not bothering you. I'm like, not bothering me at all. That fucking thing got doused in booze. MJF's mom kicked drinks into it, I think on purpose. I suspect she's also a heel.
Like mother, like son.
It was a phenomenal night. I considered trying to go live from it, but honestly, I was having such a good time. I couldn't stop myself from just having the damn night of my life. Bro. And it finished with a Ring of Honor whole episode. They were like, the show's over. Sit back down. You got 2 more hours, sucker. I was like, all right.
All of a sudden, the crepe paper comes out like, wait a minute. This looks very familiar. That's pretty awesome, bro. I'm so glad.
You'll appreciate this. A little kid collected all of the there was a new tag team champions crown. The kid ran down ringside and was like, I'll take all of that shit, and came back up with like a ball of this fucking this throwing paper. It was wonderful.
They actually colloquially refer to that as pulling a Charlie. You have come back with more crap from like indie wrestling and like this next level wrestling, and you know, obviously now the AEW has taken the next. Like, look what I got. And I'm like, oh, Charlie, whose pants are those? Oh, MJF. Oh no, what is going on? But no, I'm glad that as I sat home sad and disappointed, that you were out there with your boys having a great time drinking and eating.
At least no one FaceTimed you to show you all the free vegetarian shit. That is valid.
That was there. Yeah. Basically, yeah. That was the equivalent of this. But that'll be a visual gag for everyone who was here with us. So if you're listening on audio only, that's what happens to you. But I will tell you this, friends and viewers, that while Charlie did leave me on the shelf like a 1982 straight arm rock and roll figure whose like crotch and thumbs both broke for a much higher level kung fu grip version of an evening, when we did have the opportunity to go to the theater to drink in the newest installment of this pre-blockbuster season, Charlie did indeed show up. He did not leave me up on the shelf with my broken crotch and thumbs. No. He showed up, and he showed up big, but also as well as did this flick, Dungeons and Dragons Honor Among Thieves. I'm just going to go ahead and say it, Charlie. When I first saw this trailer, I'm not like Charlie. I'm a trailer watcher. I'll watch trailers. I'm like, oh, is this trailer 1 or trailer 2? Trailer 2 or trailer 3? 3 or 7? 7 or 14? I don't give a shit. As many trailers as they want to put out there, I will watch the whole damn movie before I ever spend a cent, and I will not feel bad about it when a few weeks later I pay good money to actually see the recombined version of that. I don't care. I'm not like you. However, watching this particular trailer, I wasn't sure if it was trash day or recycling day. All I knew is that this fucking thing needed to be dragged out to the curb. It looked absolutely terrible. Demon God, it was.
It looked like a sequel to Dungeons and Dragons. That fucking
Charlie, the trailer
whack-ass movie from the 90s.
It looked so bad. I'll take it a step further. I thought that Hercules, the TV series, had gotten a renewal on the big screen. I'm like, this looks Hercules level bad. Obviously, I'm going to leave my homegirl Xena out of this because she's a snack. She can do anything that she wants to do. She had my man Ash from The Evil Dead with her. So she could do no wrong, but Hercules has something to answer for, and I'm not even talking about social media.
You know, that's before
the trailer looked terrible. Cousin Paul is rising from his Crash Bandicoot self up off of the ashes to drop in D&D trailer was not impressive. That is right, Cousin Paul. Paul, I told Charlie about your accent. I hope you're feeling okay today, man. We both obviously are very, very.
I just want to make it very clear.
For the accent.
I want to make it very clear to everyone. There's no excuse to miss this show. Demon Koga knows
even when there's no show.
If you get in a car accident at 8:02, did you break your phone? Just have it up, man.
Don't be lazy, to this, bro. Don't be lazy. While you were dealing with the aftermath, and I was just a sad little boy huddled in the corner, Charlie was sucking down free appetizers, making fun of a guy with a huge coat and a sign, and rooting on the boys wrestling. But yeah, Charlie, would you agree with me? The trailer looked bad.
John, not only did the trailer look bad, it confirmed all of my suspicions about a Dungeons and Dragons movie, which would be it would stink. I saw that trailer because I had no intentions of seeing Dungeons and Dragons the movie. It's only love that brought me to the theater. That and the promise of a large drink and a popcorn. John, you know when the theory is that something will suck, then you see a trailer and you're like, fucking nailed that prediction. That's how honest to God positive I was that movie was going to stink on. I sat in that chair and I said, about to waste 2 hours.
I would have bet good, hard-earned money that the movie we were about to see was going to stink on proverbial ice. As a matter of fact, I sat down thinking, well, at least it's going to be good fodder for a podcast / video / apology session, because guys and gals, that's what this is. And I can speak for my boy Charlie, because we couldn't help but talk about it on the ride back to Mama Duke's house.
I was astonished. I spent the whole film astonished it was a movie.
We were wrong. We were collectively, which never happens, because usually when one of us or the other is wrong, the other one got it right. Like, it's one of the rare times that we disagree. We were both wrong. Shocking. Because this movie was just a lot of fun. And again, one of the things that I don't do, Charlie, again, begs off trailers like it's his job, or the job that he likes. However, one of the things that I always beg off of are reviews. I could not possibly care less about someone else's opinion, including Charlie, about a movie that I'm going to see regardless, right? It's one thing if I'm on the fence. I'm like, I don't know, Morgan Freeman, he's a runaway slave. He's 112. Who's he running away from? I'm not really sure about it. But if the review comes out and it's Oscar buzzworthy. He literally takes flight in this movie. He speaks Sumerian. I'm like, oh shit, I guess I had to go see it. There are reviews that will light a fire under the undercarriage to get me to the theater. I'll admit it. This wasn't going to be one of them. So I didn't matter what the reviews came in. But Charlie, after maybe the 117th consecutive glowing review, I said, shit, man, maybe I'm wrong.
You told me this has never happened, to my knowledge, in our history as brothers, which means my history of existing. All of my years and minutes, to my knowledge, isn't happening.
I had a good 9-year run there, bro.
You like came to me and you were like, you know what I heard? And I was like, oh, I'm dying. Fuck, it's finally catching up to me.
I'm gonna miss you.
No. That too, you're definitely gonna die young.
But also as well as,
and no one loves you. That's a fucking perfect formula for death, Chuck.
No one has ever died of that ever.
They're saying that Dungeons and Dragons is good, like really good, and I believe my exact words were, "Get the fuck out of here. There's not a chance in hell." And luckily you were in town, so.
I felt exactly the same way, and look, man, this was not the level. So friend of the show, Casey Manning, he hit me up. He might be literally the only dissenting voice. He's like, "Meh, I didn't like it." That's a very good Casey, by the way. Meh, see, meh, not gonna give me a live cover.
Taxi toys, fucking guy.
So Casey was not about it. But also as well as like a fucking wizard has cast a spell over me, I didn't give a fuck. Like, if somebody adamantly says, "Nah, you know what, John, you might be wrong. Here's why," it just like boink, it fucking bounced off of me, and it plugged itself into a gelatinous cube somewhere down the block, because it didn't matter. I said, you know what, Casey, I had fun. I had fun. Now here's the thing. And this is where
Casey
the different
hates fun. All of our friends think fun.
No,
is
not
stupid.
untrue. But the where I think the divide was. So when Charlie and this is, I want to put this right out there also, and then we can get into the nuances of the flick. had someone, well, I guess in your case they did talk it up. Because I was saying,
Yeah.
I talked up. I didn't talk up my viewing. Did I?
It wasn't
Now I don't
firsthand.
remember. Now I
Yeah,
don't
yeah,
remember.
you gave
Actually, you know
me
what?
because
Yeah, I was gonna say. I think I had the same conversation with you of like, wow, it's getting good reviews. I'm shocked. I'm gonna go see it. And then he said, yeah, I'm gonna see it as well. So I think he sat down with like the same like situation as we did. Now I don't know. I don't know. I had very even hearing the great reviews. I still had tremendously low expectations. But if someone that you knew and who generally, let's say it was me, if someone comes to you and says like, look, we normally agree on kind of like these type of outings. Here's my high opinion of it. Would it set you up for a disappointment potentially, or would you still say, I don't give a fuck?
I mean, the problem is all of my friends, my co-host and brother included, like have shit for brains. Like you guys have been right about so little that I've thought like the other direction
You
on.
lying son of a bitch. You would think a person who sat through not two but maybe three fucking versions of Pinocchio this year alone should know that it is not healthy to be such a
Touche.
fucking bald-faced, bearded liar like you
No,
are.
I think the problem is, um, maybe you and I have had enough disagreements on things that there's plausible deniability that some shit won't resonate with me. And like, despite
Gotcha.
all my matter of fact speaking, like I do respect the fact that some people love shit I don't, because I happen to love shit that like sometimes I actively know is like bad or campy or like just not for any audience other than me maybe, and I sit there
Sure.
with my fucking shit-eating grin. Like if they charged me $20 to see the new fucking Power Ranger Netflix movie that's coming out, I would throw $20 at them and be like, "Yay, Billy back!" Like I am not to be trusted, and since you can't trust me, I live in a world where
and
I
we
can't
can't.
possibly trust you.
That's fair. That's fair. See, I feel like I know who I'm speaking to. I usually try to take the tact of obviously as we know here. I don't really try to speak in the terms of like, well, this was good and this was bad and that was great and this was terrible. I really just kind of live in that space of like, I really like this. No, I really didn't like that. It takes a lot to get me to the love or hate category. But honestly, this would have been something that I was comfortable telling anybody if I know them, again, knowing their taste, you're going to really like this because it was just fun. And ultimately, that's, I think, how it can be best described. It was just fun. Now, I do have to acknowledge this. While I am very, I would say, I wouldn't quite say that I'm fluent in Dungeons and Dragons,
Oh, yeah,
but I would
yeah.
say that I have like a working, like one of those things you're like, I can speak Spanish, but I cannot read or write it type of
Yeah.
conversation. That's kind of like how I'm like I could throw a dice, but I don't know if it should have 12 sides or 6 sides. I don't fucking know. Dragon bad, fireball. I just like when in doubt, cast fireball. You're straight. But we have multiple friends who are eyebrow deep into D&D. Like they'll sit down and they'll play a fucking campaign till the cows come home.
Which
Freaking
I'm
friend
dying
of
to
the
do,
show,
by the way.
Jordan,
How do I
made
not
a
have
made a
friends?
Dungeons and Dragons product for sale, which if I was responsible and a good friend, I would remember the name of, but I don't. I'll look it up before we leave. I'm sorry, Charlie, I cut you off. What were you saying?
No, not at all. What I'm saying is like, despite all this nerd world I live in, I've never been invited to a proper campaign. I played a Dungeons
Oof.
and Dragons like system based Ghostbuster game. It like used the same
Of course you did.
rules. Yeah, it was very creepy. Shout out to the creepy ass first team I tried to raise money with. We raised like $8 on my back, and then they just didn't show up to events anymore. My life is always great. But I have like I wouldn't even call it a passing knowledge of Dungeons and Dragons. This internet video game reviewer from 10 years ago, Spoonie, is the only reason I know like what a paladin is. From him reviewing different games and talking about Dungeons and Dragons. What I thought this movie's superpower was, though, was that I left it being like, yo, what's up with that murder cube? What's up with that evil Jello? Like, I left that movie. If there was a nerd standing outside with a pamphlet,
Actually, it's
saying, like,
gelatinous cube, and it is an
I'll
old
show.
school, very old-fashioned weapon
Well,
device.
I don't know that, so that works for me. Because if someone handed me a
See what I'm
pamphlet,
saying? Like, I know just like I could probably skirt by, like a tabletop aficionado conversation. Like, oh yeah,
see, this
gelatinous
is
cube. Am I right?
bullshit.
And then I just
This is
move on
bullshit.
down the street.
This is horseshit because what you did long ago with your advanced age, you used our like decade difference to learn just enough to date the hottest version of any type. So you know a little bit about Dungeons and Dragons in case you meet a bitch that's like fucking gonna be like, roll fucking D86. This is bullshit.
First of all, Charlie, this is 2023, and you refer to him as a lovely maiden. See, that's a difference, man. That's D&D page 13, I believe.
I
Come on,
tried
man.
to refer
Act
to
right,
someone as
bro.
a lovely maiden.
Come
I
on.
got blocked.
Yeah.
No, but
that guy was not ready to hear that from you, and frankly, he was lovely.
What was Jordan's take? I remember seeing a post, and I feel like vaguely I apologize, you probably don't remember, but I feel like it's been very mixed among the actual D&D people,
Hardcore.
You and I have had this conversation before. That's not really what these products are for. It's like the Marvel movie problem.
Well,
it's not for comic book fans. Alone, it's for them plus.
I'm gonna mansplain something to you real quick. It's not so much that it's not for them. They have them anyway. So you don't have to cater to like the hardcore D&D fans, because what are they gonna do? Not see the fucking movie?
Know who they're
going
cater to though? They like straight up put those cartoon D&D motherfuckers. They're in the movie.
Boy, let me tell you something. For anyone who did not have the pleasure of growing up in the 80s, there was a D&D Dungeons and Dragons cartoon that was just unlike anything else that was on regular cartoon viewing options for you as a kid. You're like, wait, what? A bow where you just like pull it back, you don't need a string, you're shooting bolts all over the place. Cavalier, the guy who had like my Cavalier was dripped. He was perfect geared out, and like, oh, here's a shield. What? A shield? And he's the biggest sucker of them all. The Barbarian was like a little kid with a Captain Caveman type of club, little unicorn running around, old baby unicorn, which was amazing in this flick. And again, this is, I guess, where the spoilers get heavy, but we're not exactly on the heels of the movie being released. My D&D crew from the cartoon shows up, and they show up at first. Like the only little blurb that they showed up was off in the distance, kind of hazy. I was ready to do the Leo DiCaprio, oh look, I think I maybe even threw an elbow into your side. But then they're like, oh, here we are again. Oh, here we are again, super close up. Oh, here we are yet another time, actually very much involved with the current story right now.
They literally turned to the camera. They were like, "Sup, John?"
Clink, clink, clink. Remember us? A member? So yeah, that was a lot of fun. Now I will say this, Charlie, and you're more than welcome to kind of tit for tat with me. Obviously, again, well, it goes without saying, wasn't Shakespeare, right? But very much fun. But there were some aspects of it. It certainly wasn't perfect. There were certain beats. There were certain components of the flick where I thought, that could have been better. Right off the bat, I think maybe either in the ride back with you, or maybe the day after or a day or two ago, I said I'm really kind of grateful for time, in that Hugh Grant has now aged into the fucking creep that I always secretly knew he was. He's no longer the pretty faced 90s hair, ridiculous accent, that whole gimmick. I was like, you're awful. You're the bad guy in everything that I've seen you in. Julia Roberts should never go with you. You stink. You stink on ice. I was very happy when his inevitable kind of before cancel culture was a thing, they tried to cancel him. But now he's like old and goofy looking, and he can just be himself and be a great creep. I never liked him. I didn't like his
Well,
character.
you
His portrayal was great, but now it's okay to feel that way because he's a goofy old bad guy.
I have to insist that you bring up the fact, the most important aspect, I don't think you've hammered home yet. It's the same character.
It's the same guy.
He is not playing a different character. He's not leaning into something. The 2023 optics of an English guy who's like always a little befuddled. Like, perchance you allow me to buy you.
Yeah, but you can trust me.
You're a creep.
I was
You're
poor,
a liar.
and
I don't like you. Fucking. I will say this.
He's fun to hate his face, and I hate his face. He's always the bad guy now. Always.
What I really appreciated about this flick was that it very, and again, I have to speak specifically for my ilk, people who don't really know Dungeons and Dragons. This felt like such a welcoming campaign. This felt like there was a group of people who play Dungeons and Dragons every Saturday.
Sure.
And I got invited because they met me on a Tuesday and thought I was friendly.
The DM was like kind to you, like, "Oh, sit down, little boy."
They set up the easiest fucking game. They set up like stakes that were like high, but also very much as well as escalated in the last 30 seconds. This movie went from, again, I'll try to avoid spoilers, but it was like, we stole your bracelet. And it's like, oh, that's fucked. I really like that bracelet. And like, just kidding. The whole fucking world's going to die in 30 seconds unless you make this strong choice about who you are as a person. And they're like, fuck, I'll shave my mustache. And they're like, all right, world saved. Cool. It also, what I loved was it borrowed from the last 15 years of like all of films, comedies, actions, adventures, comic book movies, and cherry-picked moments that they were like, do you remember when this happened in this summer blockbuster from 2007? We remixed it. And I'm like, oh, shit. Oh, fuck, getting jiggy with it. What up? Like, I love that it's so warmly embraced.
Did you just say you were getting jiggy with it?
I did. I'm bringing it back.
I'd like to apologize to all the good people out there for
I'm going to say it. Will Smith was right.
You know what's really interesting, Charlie, is that you say that, and I think that is true because there was a certain familiarity. A lot of the character interactions felt familiar. Matter of fact, when our boy Chris Pine was interacting with Reggae John Paul, or whatever the hell his name is, it very much to me felt like Kirk arguing with Spock. I was like, I feel like I've seen this actual scene, just not in a cave in the underworld, but it happened on the fucking, on the USS Enterprise, or the Starship Enterprise. One of them's parked across the river, one of them is in
some
space.
Star Trek bullshit.
Yeah, some Star Trek stuff. But all this other stuff, Charlie, borrowed from D&D first, right? So one might argue, at a point in time, a few months ago, where we had the Dance of Dragons happening alongside like a TV version of Lord of the Rings. There's fantasy up the yin yang right now. Like, we've got fantasy all over the place. Stranger Things literally began with the kids are running a D&D campaign. The Demogorgon is an actual entity from the D&D lore. But I'm saying, like, they Dungeons and Dragons is owed, right? It's owed by a lot of what's going on and has been going on for a long time now. So I think it's probably only fair that they're able to kind of like, you kind of owe me one, but why don't you pick this check up this time around? Let me ask you this though, because in that same thought of like, okay, well, it wasn't perfect. Was there anything for you that didn't quite work, or maybe something that you would have done differently?
I wouldn't say it didn't work. I will say it took me out at a couple moments. Luckily, the scenes were very, very good. This couldn't have been a very high budget. Meaning that for the scale of this movie, I'm just saying what it looked like, dollar bills on the screen. There's a couple scenes that look actively 1992. There's very specifically one of my favorite scenes Michelle Rodriguez with extra heated armpits goes and visits with her ex, who's not exactly the type of guy you'd expect a barbarian type woman to
He's Mormon.
have been married to. That scene does not look good. That is very floating head. That is very clearly composited. It looked like a cheap scene. Luckily for the film, that scene's incredible. And it's legitimately, it's such a one-note joke that's in that moment. I
Sure.
for a minute. I was
Well,
like,
it's interesting. It's interesting
a cheap
that you
cameo.
bring it up.
It's a cheap scene.
Yeah.
Mwah.
It's interesting that you bring it up because that wasn't the cat that she filmed it with. Matter of fact, they went through this whole thing of like wanting to talk about it because again, spoiler light. It's a pretty big. It was a pretty big name who they ended up pulling in for that scene, and she said we were never. I still haven't met the guy, so it was
that's not surprising. That's not surprising. Because
but on the same token, it didn't take me out of it. It had it been someone who I didn't know, or even like a lower level performer, then maybe I would have had the same reaction as you. But as a matter of fact, maybe it wouldn't have quite looked that way because maybe it was rust, blah, blah, blah. That didn't really even occur to me. I will tell you what did occur to me.
Excuses are like assholes, John. Excuses are the movie studio's own. I'm there as a fan, and one of these things did not look the other.
Yeah,
they left a room and the movie looked great. They went into a room, it didn't look great. And there's a few times in the flick where it doesn't necessarily look like...
I think that's kind of splitting hairs, because I will say this. In the way that the camera work was done, the fights, the effects, both CGI and practical, they pulled multiple practical effects out of the old fucking dusty trick bag in the back corner, and it really worked, man. Forget about all of the little Easter eggs that are peppered into the movie all over the place. Easter eggs, I think, and obviously we're in the right season for it, but Easter eggs can be distracting when somebody's like, "Oh, look what we're doing! Look at this! Ha ha ha!"
I'm Jack
and the
Black.
member berries are just
I'm
rolling
a politician
down.
in space.
Oof. I got a picture I made that I gotta show you because that's another disagreement. But when Easter eggs are the focal point of a scene, bad scene. When an Easter egg is in the background, and maybe even if you're familiar with it, you miss it, and it needs a second watching or third. Bitch, that's what second and third watchings are for, to catch things that you didn't catch because you were enthralled in the plot.
I just want to clarify. None of these issues I have with it took a fraction of a point away. It's exclusively in the waxing poetic about film. You look at this flick, and it's not... It wouldn't be inappropriate to say it looked as good or as bad as Ant-Man. Because
but you're the only one who plays that game. Nobody cares.
Well, but it's
nobody cares.
Game.
I'm like, well, but how would you compare it to Ant-Man though? Like
no,
something else that's totally unrelated.
What I'm saying is there's a difference between these tremendous beasts that show up in the flick that look fucking awesome, but don't necessarily look real. Right? They look great, but it's an evil chest. Like, you can only look so goddamn real if you're that silly. That's some real Ghostbusters shit.
Have you seen many evil chests? Because I have. And they had teeth. They had long tongues.
I tried to propose to a couple evil chests in my time. It just didn't work out. So,
man. Charlie rolled a 12 on those motherfuckers. Look, all I'm going to say is this, because as per usual, we are over time.
No, not us.
All
of our D&D tournament, like the fucking campaign, would be like, this is a 12-hour campaign. You and I would be like, challenge accepted. First level, we're in the bar still, negotiating
6
payment.
months
2 days later.
So yeah, final thought, truly. I'm going to speak for you because why not? We both sat down with not particularly high expectations. We both sat down not as particularly fanboys of D&D, though I think we both very much enjoy a lot of what has spun off of Dungeons and Dragons over the ensuing years. Granted, I might have caught more of the terminology, more of the little Easter eggy type stuff, but Charlie and I were both entirely there for the run. You mentioned her before, Harry Pitts aside. For me, Michelle Rodriguez was a miss, but on the same token, I'm not a big fan of hers anyway. So it's like somebody says, this is the best white chocolate. I'm like, well, white chocolate is not particularly good ever. So I didn't really enjoy her in this flick. But the best thing I can say about it is, having not enjoying her performances as a rule, even that didn't take me out of it. So this movie for me was bulletproof in like the best possible way. I'm hopeful that they keep the gang together, because frankly Chris Pine needs a franchise at any given moment, even just to fucking breathe, I think. But yeah, I really enjoyed the flick. I don't think that you need to be a big D&D head to really enjoy it. I'm still kind of curious, if you are a huge D&D fan, if you'll be put off for whatever reason. So we'd love to hear from you about that.
Like really, really.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah, let us know about it.
Hit us up online, and just and feel free to rant about it, because I would love fucking scene by scene what you loved or did not love. Because
I don't know if I would say I would love it, but I might tolerate it.
I'll read it. That's what I mean by love. It's like, I'll give you the time of day to read most of it. I'll peruse.
Look, if somebody is sitting there and they sat through the movie, whether they're a big fan or not, and they tell you that was just not a good time for a goddamn early blockbuster season entry, they are one thing and one thing only, Charlie. They are Hugh Grant. No. I meant they are a goddamn liar. Why?
Because
Charlie will tell you why. Damn straight, Han shot first, baby. I salute.
Clinky. Oh my
Delicious.
God, John.
Delicious.
Johnny boy, what a fucking stacked few weeks we've had in the movie theaters. Like, you talk about chests worth proposing to. It just seems like it seems like the train won't stop coming. So I thought there would be nothing coming out of this week. We seem to get like inundated with trailers, and it got me thinking of the rest of the year.
Ducking trailers right and left.
It has become very, very difficult. I did make a couple of exceptions, because some people it was honestly, now I'm paranoid. The fucking Dungeons and Dragons, I go like, wait, could I be surviving more of my treacherous life by longing for a future date for just a couple of hours to ease this pain that is my daily existence?
On the horizon, help me take a next shuffling step.
John,
oh God,
talking about shit I wasn't excited for, that now I'm fully just primed and ready to run to. Have you seen the Blue Beetle trailer?
I'm pretty sure I sent it to you.
Holy shit! John, Warner Brothers moving this from a Max movie to cinemas. Who made that decision? Maybe they should be in charge of some shit. I haven't been this hyped up for a superhero movie based on what they've provided in years. This felt similar to me to how I felt when I first saw the Iron Man trailer. Because again, we knew Iron Man was C-lister, and then John, there's body horror in the middle of this Blue Beetle trailer that there was like goo and burning clothes off, and the fucking poor kid from Karate Kid basically screaming, and then next thing, motherfuckers in space. John, I am hyped the fuck up, but I have to start with this. Did you give a single fuck about Blue Beetle 2 weeks ago? The movie or the comic?
Yeah, I did. So this is one of those. Let me just grab your synopsis and rub it on my butt real quick. There we go. I'll get right back. So I'll take that back a little bit. Blue Beetle, really kind of considered golden age. Blue Beetle didn't really mean shit to me until like the best episode of Starsky and Hutch, until he was paired up with Booster Gold. So prior to the Booster Gold relationship, no, yes, I agree with you. I don't give two shits about Blue Beetle. However, that duo really did tremendous things for both of the characters. Now this is a different version of Blue Beetle than that original version with the duo. But this is Jamie Reyes, which is kind of 2.0 version 2.0. And if anyone is unfamiliar, definitely check out the trailer. Probably can best be described as like if Miles Morales and Iron Man had a little multi-ethnic, baby. He's just great. Like it's a different iteration of the Blue Beetle costume and powers. But it's outstanding. And truthfully, that's kind of like how the movie felt to a certain degree. I'm also hopeful. Obviously, again, DC needs wins. But I sat there thinking, how the fuck is this going to work? Like, where is this now going to be situated?
Oh, it's the first movie. It's been confirmed.
So this is
number. So Flash counts, but I don't know when Flash comes out. Which comes out first?
Yeah.
Flash comes out first.
Yeah.
So Flash is considered like the tweener of the cinematic universe. This Blue Beetle has been confirmed. It is movie one
first
in Gods and Monsters.
Gotcha.
With it still being mostly a standalone. Again, the word on the street is Iron Man-esque. Iron Man didn't talk about Steve Rogers, but Steve Rogers was frozen during Iron Man.
Right. Yeah, well, then that eliminates that concern for me right away. So when somebody goes to watch it, they're unencumbered. They don't have to worry about, well, where is this and who is where and what is up and down. And all right, that's outstanding. Now let me ask you this.
Yes, please.
Obviously, again, we're both very much looking forward to it. I don't want Johnny Legs to be looking my way and think that I'm not about having as many Latinos on the screen at any given moment. Which, by the way, can we talk about Johnny Legs for a second? He's going on his rant that there's not. I did see. He's like going on a rant that there's not enough. That there specifically in the Mario movie, there's not enough. There's no Latino voices, but like Anna Taylor-Joy, she is Latina. So John, what the fuck is he talking about?
John, she's a sex robot. She's not people.
Yeah, but as far as she's a Latina
she is behind the eyes?
Sex robot, bro. Like her, much like Bending Rodriguez, if you look at the bottom of her foot stamp, it'll say Hecho, not in Mexico, but I think Hecho in Argentina. Regardless, that's off the point. But yeah, I'm very much looking forward to this flick. Did you see?
Before you jump onto the next one, because I do want to kind of go for lack of a better term, I want to go tit for tat with what we're getting all fucking hot and bothered of. I just want to address Cousin Paul over on YouTube, guys. Please feel free, comment, get involved in the conversation. Paul said, I was introduced to Blue Beetle in the 80s during DC's Crisis on Infinite Earths. The character never set my world on fire. What's great about Blue Beetle, first, mostly, there's 3 incarnations of Blue Beetle. The only completely original version to DC Comics is Jaime, is this tech-based Blue Beetle. Also, as well as if you've seen Watchmen, very much Night Owl was the kind of bizarro take on Blue Beetle. So if you love Watchmen, there's a lot of that kind of like self-sabotage, the owl ship. In this new trailer, we see the bug, we see the fucking basically the Blue Beetle's real version of the owl ship. There's so much. If you haven't heard of this character, congratulations. You can even wait until you see the movie. I'm willing to bet that if nothing else, this movie helps establish Blue Beetle as a wonderful character that I promise you there's not only singular great arcs for, there's dozens and dozens of great Blue Beetle arcs across the 3 men who've had that title. John, kicking it back to you. I just wanted to let Cousin Paul go.
Yeah, man, that was a solid rant, but we do gotta watch the clock. So clearly Charlie feels very strongly about Blue Beetle. I do as well. One of the trailers that we have, I can't imagine how Charlie's been ducking these all. I really don't. Have you
A lot of them
sincerely
caught me.
avoided any? No, I'm saying, have you sincerely avoided any of the Guardians of the Galaxy 3 trailers?
I have seen no trailers for. I saw the
Dude, that is
teaser.
absolutely
I saw the
insane to me.
teaser because I wanted to be able to at least listen to the trailer song because that pops up on my Spotify because they know me.
Yeah.
All I saw was the teaser, and I'm fucking worried. Not in a way that I think it's not going to be great. I'm worried that I'm going to leave that theater bawling like I have a skid knee and.
Yeah,
whatnot.
but I mean, you cry like you're chopping onions for a fucking
Why are
living.
you saying that?
James Gunn has all of my faith. So I don't have any doubt that I'm going to not enjoy this flick or kind of like his direction. The holiday special didn't really do as much for me as it did for some other people, but that's regardless of the fact. Huh? Yeah, including Charlie. So,
Yeah, I
the
love
holiday
the-
special.
I was Yay, Christmas.
But yeah, no. So they've been dropping trailers hot and heavy. So Guardians of the Galaxy, we're expecting it May 5th, right? So that's like, it's basically breathing down our neck. Just Drax is just breathing heavy fire down our throats, and I'm super excited for it. More so because, and this is gonna sound a little funny, this is the exact opposite of Charlie's. More is better, right? If one is good, give me 27. This is it. So this is the end of that trilogy as it was designed. So again, James Gunn has he has my proxy. Like whatever he does, I'm gonna go check it out because I like how he handles his business. This is it, right? This is it for the crew. They could not have been more clear in all of the trailers that we were wrapping this story up. Now that's not to say that there may not be a different iteration now that James Gunn hands over the keys to the franchise if someone wants to pick it up and run with it. But we're never going to see this collection of characters in this way again. I have no problem with it. I really don't. Matter of fact, I think I'm looking forward to that.
Yeah, I'm a hypocrite in a lot of ways. This is one of them. I love Visions getting to be compartmentalized. I love the idea that there's this crazy every couple years they release a new Marvel 74 film collection. I love that somewhere out there can be a Guardians 3-pack featuring the holiday special, and we'll call
And
it a
that's
day.
it. It's done.
I love that. I love that these movies play into the universe, but have very much been able to do their own thing. I love that they have a very clear and somewhat singular identity by virtue of being in space. Obviously, it's been borrowed here and there, mostly by Thor, for kind of some of the vibe of what the
Thor
space is.
Thor
Makes
is
total
for the
sense.
Guardians is like the guy that comes over and stays way past its appropriate. Like it's 11:30 at night. You're like you've already watched the 11 o'clock news. You're like, yo, homie, man. Some of us got to be at work in the morning. We're not Norse gods. Let's go wrap it up, B.
You know what I will say, just very quickly, because again, I can't really speak to the trailer, but feel free to gush about it. What I do really appreciate was that Thor: Love and Thunder, there was a lot of rumor that it was going to have a lot of Guardians of the Galaxy in it, and it did not. Which for me is great, because I don't think the Guardians need Thor for their story, and I think it would have been more obnoxious if I had to kind of take 20 minutes out of another film to track the whole story.
Thor is Thor is like pesto. Like if you put pesto in any recipe that you have going on, that shit is now pesto fill in the blank. So Thor, if you add him to any group dynamic or storyline, like Thor is pretty he's pretty much gonna be the main focus. But anyways, Charlie, I'm going to let you move on to the next because I'm having a little camera issue. I'm going to see if I can fix that. But please feel free to move on, okay, pal?
Absolutely. Absolutely. Are you still going to be able to hear me? Oh, maybe not. He's just gone. Ladies and gentlemen, it's just us, so strap in because it's about to get sexy as hell. I hope at this point you've seen the trailer to a film that I absolutely did not know was on the horizon. I didn't know it was this close to being ready for the masses. But that's Ninja Turtle Sewer Mayhem, I believe it's called. Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Mutant Mayhem, directed by Jeff Rowe. But Seth Rogen and Evan Goldberg, the two writing partners, Seth Rogen, of course, wildly famous, they put this flick together. This is their project with Nickelodeon's, and it takes the Ninja Turtles back to the sewer and back to their early teenage years. I feel like they might be very confused about the term teenager, and you might have Michelangelo trying to consider himself a teen when he is just a tween, rocking 11 or 12. Very seldom do I see a trailer and not have a strong emotion to it. This emotion was all in the affirmative. I love the Ninja Turtles. I don't think the Ninja Turtles have ever been better in comic book or television form than their movie in the 90s. That first Ninja Turtles movie was just pitch perfect. This flick looks like it might be challenging it. I mean, the fact that we got Ninja Turtles with eyeglasses and braces, Raph's missing a tooth, and he's causing all sorts of chaos. I absolutely cannot wait for some mutant mayhem. If you haven't seen the trailer, do it to it. It's already come under some scrutiny. There's already the woke police coming after it because April is black and chubby. I, for one, have never cared about the shape and or skin color of April O'Neil. We've already had a few different actors take on the role. Megan Fox trying to ruin our day, being involved in that absolutely terrible set of flicks. I was still able to pull some enjoyment out of. Mutant Mayhem is absolutely something I'm looking forward to. Another movie I checked out the trailer for just out of pure curiosity, Haunted Mansion. Disney continues its ongoing struggles to adapt every fucking ride they have before giving me Tron Part 3. But now it's a ride, so maybe we'll get that. Haunted Mansion is directed by Justin Simon. We got my girl Rosario Dawson. We got Jamie Lee Curtis, Jared Leto, Owen Wilson, Tiffany Haddish, Danny DeVito, Lakeith Stefan, Winona Ryder, and Dan Levy. Coming out in July. I had nothing but trepidation. The fuck are you going to do with a Haunted Mansion? It turns out quite a bit. It turns out they're just going to throw money at it. Because the minute you invoke Rosario Dawson and Danny DeVito, I don't think the trailer looked particularly good. I think it looked better than their last adaptation. I'm kind of hoping that this flick will have the same superpowers that Dungeons and Dragon had. Maybe the second bite at the apple will be the best bite of the apple. The big talk of the town right now for everybody is that Barbie trailer dropped. We had the teaser about a month ago, maybe more. The brand new Barbie trailer is out, and damn, there are so many Kens and Barbies running around, directed by Greta Gerwig, starring Margot Robbie and Ryan Gosling, a power couple I think we all knew we needed but didn't know where it would come from. People seem really fucking excited about it. I saw it. I do not understand the hype train. I understand that IP is always, I feel like a hypocrite. Because on the one hand, I'm gushing over Ninja Turtles, and I would have probably seen any Ninja Turtles project to come out. I don't give a fuck about Barbie. So you're going to have to travel a little bit further of a distance than just having the Barbie answer to Toon World from Roger Rabbit. But it does feel like it has that vibe. Barbie going to the real world with Ken and seeing that the real world isn't as polished and fun and perky as Barbie world, it seems like it's one joke. It seems like a joke that, even though the trailer didn't leap into, I can't help but worry that Barbie is just going to be that one joke in a million ways. And in Margot Robbie, I trust. But with that being said, Margot Robbie, I do not know if she can carry a singular joke for a nearly 2-hour runtime. That Barbie trailer that everyone loves, John, it didn't do anything for me. It's again, it looks like it's intelligently pieced together. I think Greta Gerwig is a wonderful filmmaker. I think everyone involved looks like they give a fuck. I could not give a fuck. I couldn't find a fuck to give. I think John's headphones are down, so we'll go to him for commentary in just a moment. Can you hear me now, John? I'll just let you. He'll let me know. I'm curious what you guys think. The Barbie movie. This is an IP. This is what people dream about. A brand this well known. You throw pink on a poster. You throw that script font up on the screen. Says Barbie. You have a bunch of expensive talent playing Barbies and Kens. It seems like a no-brainer. For me, I just don't know, man. I'm not getting the same Who Framed Roger Rabbit vibes as everyone else.
Did I leave you for like 5 seconds and then you immediately launch into Barbie behind my back? Is that what we are with our relationship, bro?
I also talked about Turtles. I went from IP to IP.
Thank God.
I took a quick stop at Haunted Mansion. I exclusively dealt with expensive IPs while you were away because I thought they were the least interesting. John, I'm gonna kick it to you. What do you think about...
right. You were very right. Ugh.
John, did you see the Barbie trailer? And do you give a fuck?
Those two movies on their own could star in another movie called Shit That I Don't Care About. Ugh. And those involve multiple performers that I do kind of like. Those really mean very little to me. Look, Charlie, we're living in a world right now where we are literal weeks away from the man who wore a fedora like nobody ever has will again. On June 30th. Which song was that? A lot of John Williams stuff borrows from itself, I realize.
It was somewhere in between all three.
All right. So June 30th is going to bring us Indiana Jones and the Dial. Clean my pits. The Dial of Destiny. Charlie, I cannot wait. Look, I wish I had another shot to take because anyone who watched that trailer and says that they weren't amped up, butterflies in their belly, and super excited to plunk down their good money to see a geriatric run around doing the do is a daggone liar, bro. That fucking movie cannot possibly get here fast enough. Now, I do realize that we are taking the milk carton and not really looking at the expiration date and just chugging it back and not even giving it a sniff test at this point. I realize the very late date of this entry, but coming off of a less than stellar past edition, I think this is one of those situations where people just cannot fucking wait. Now, clearly I'm a big Indiana Jones head. And I know that you have the good sense to at least try to like the majority of things that I like. What did that trailer do for you, bro? I know you watched.
When he's horseback and turns the camera and it's young Indy, it's like I had never seen them do that effect before because I full on cheered in the theater. I saw that trailer because it did play before a movie that I was seeing, and frankly, I can't close my eyes that long, especially when I hear that John Williams music hit. Justifiably excited. I got to tell you, there's a lot of ways that I get to amazing things in a weird entry point. For Star Wars, it was The Mandalorian, and now I'm reverse engineering all the love for Star Wars, although I still don't get why everyone thinks Jedis are the real star. Have a helmet, or don't be the star of my movie. Indiana Jones, I first became obsessed with because of the live show in sunny Orlando, Florida. That was when I really was like, oh shit, this is rad. And then I saw young Indiana Jones, fucking goddamn boy from Boondock Saints doing work. Then I finally
My man Powder is getting
Indiana
it on.
Jones films. I am so excited. You know what I love about that trailer, at least how it feels? It just feels like everyone is like, fuck yeah, let's do this. It feels like everyone is fully committed.
Yeah. There's an enthusiasm about the whole thing. Now, again, I don't know necessarily if that enthusiasm comes from shit we swung and missed that last time out because, look, even as a huge Indiana Jones guy like myself, Kingdom of the Crystal Skull was a miss. It was a miss, right? However, I feel like that just kind of like that's like you get a C and you're like, I can do it, I can do it. I just cannot wait till the midterm, but this is clearly the final. So you actually put the study in, you do the work, and you're ready. You got your pencil all sharpened up, like go ahead, bring it on. I feel like that's what we're where we are. Everyone involved, except for maybe Fleabag, because I think she's thinking that she might inherit the franchise, which is entirely possible. It might be a spin-off situation. But the bottom line is they know that this is their last crack at it, right? They know like it's literally now or never. You don't want to be the franchise where people are talking about you years after the fact and they say stop at 3. You don't really need to watch. Like you don't want to be Godfather and having put all that work into Godfather 3, recut it a million times, like do special effects, and like people are still saying don't watch it. Just stop after 2. There's only so many times that Michael Corleone can die. You don't want to be that franchise, and I think that was the energy that the Indiana Jones folks, Spielberg and Lucas, you damn liar, that they went in. Harrison, obviously the hero of heroes, Han, Indy, Han, whatever. I did that backwards, not once but twice. I'm having a tough technological day, folks. But that all being said, man, as a huge indie fan, I cannot wait. Now, granted, just because this is likely, and rightfully so, going to be the last entry by my man Harrison, we still got video games, we've got comic books, we have animated. Like, there's no reason why the adventures of specifically this version of Indiana Jones needs to be hung up. But like I was mentioning before, I like it when you know that there is a finish line that you're driving towards. Fuck, John Wick just did it to great success for us both. There's the finish line. That's what we're racing towards. I don't hear you, Chucky boy.
Oh, I said prepare the next 9 prequels for John Wick. That shit is we're not
That's
done
fine.
yet.
And you know what? If Indiana Jones goes the way of the prequel, that's fine with me. Multiple side characters are interesting enough to me. Goddamn, tell me where Short Round is an Oscar-winning actor. Can we please give the man the respect and the attention that he deserves within the Indiana Jones franchise? I'm super duper excited. I can't wait.
Again, I think there's something to be said about legitimacy and honesty and fucking real. And that's why every week, John, I find myself fucking incensed. I find myself enraged because I listen to millionaires 5 times over. I'm like everyone else. I like a podcast. I like a video show. And I tune in and these motherfuckers are telling me they're sleeping on luxury linen sheets. For 30 years, I've used luxury. It just so happens they're a sponsor. What fucking makes me disgusted, John? What makes me disgusted is I do sleep on one of those beds. I have a Ridge wallet. But you know what the problem is? My bed sucks. My Ridge wallet sucks. I don't want their fucking horseshit corporate money because unlike other podcasts who sell out for some random brand that's willing to pay a couple bucks, we're not like them. Because today we're once again brought to you by one of our absolute favorite bands. And then, of course, is Bad Mary. You heard them during the intro. You're going to hear them again at the end of the show. If you're wondering where else you can catch their act, you can follow them at Bad Mary Band across all social media platforms. You can support them over on patreon.com/Bad Mary Band. You can stay up to date at badmary.com for merch and upcoming performances, including their tour of Japan. But my favorite part is their entire discography is available across every music streaming service.
That's right. You okay, man? You need some water? You need a little hydration?
Sounds like an aneurysm.
Little caffeine? Whew, man, that was a slog. But it does leave me with one question. Where are we dropping with Sergeant Finesse? Find him currently gaming as a gaming partner still on Facebook, but most of the time and in largely larger doses over on Kick.com. That is a brand new streaming platform that the Sarge is just ripping it up on. Multiple streams every day. Outstanding video game content, supporter games, co-streams, giveaways, contests. Don't be a sucker. Check them out today. When the Sarge is on deck, you salute. Damn right. Now, Charlie, again, I know that you did want to work your way through all of the toy franchises that are getting a movie for some reason or another. Just to go backwards a little bit, I'm only kind of joking. I love Margot Robbie to the extent where I would pretty much watch her in anything. She's just a pleasure to see on screen. Just in the off chance if somebody sends this to her, New Jersey's really not that far from Australia, so you can make it happen. But that all being said, there are other slightly more mainstream flicks that I think we can get excited for. But one of the also, you can include him in that list of characters. You're like, really? This guy's getting a standalone? Really? Kraven the Hunter. Never mind. Like, forget about forget about a letter grade, because again, Charlie likes to rank things. He likes to stack them. He likes to grade them. He likes to put them in a plastic container, keep it dustproof, and then stick it high up on a shelf in the background so nobody thinks he's playing with them at night. He actually is. He plays with them all the time. But that all being said, nobody thinks of Kraven the Hunter, a Spider-Man villain.
John, it's because Fox sucks.
Well, here's the thing. You're partially right. So Fox is left with I feel like Fox has a toy bin that is filled with exclusively 70% off back bin discount toys in like the darkest corner of KB, where like your mom didn't want to let you go to that KB because if there were child molesters in the toy store, that's definitely where they would hang out. Like that back, there's like a spider web connecting. They're not even decorated for Halloween. It's just like actual spider webs in that corner. That's where the Kraven the Hunter toys would be. So Sony's like, well, we got the license. Let's make a movie. Kraven the Hunter is expected to drop October of this year, just when it's likely to start getting colder.
It's Kraven time!
It's Kraven the Hunter. Now, look.
Genuine frustration!
There are characters out there, Charlie, and as a wannabe writer of this type of material, I don't mind telling you, sometimes all it takes to be inspired is a great look. Like if a character has a great look, all of a sudden your creative juices start flowing. Very gross. Your fucking gears start grinding. Also kind of gross, but I'm not really sure why. You get inspired. You're like, oh shit, okay, I can see this motherfucker getting into some shit up in here. All right, you give the pencil a few dabs, and you're off to the races. Charlie, can you explain to the good people what Kraven the Hunter even looks like?
I'm pretty sure Kraven the Hunter mostly wears like a lion head vest.
My man has a V-neck cut down to his belly button. Not of a fine Egyptian cotton come from the Gap Kids around the corner. No. It is of a lion head. He got two giant eyeballs right about where his nipples would be. What are you doing, Sony? What are you doing? We had a massive... go ahead, Charlie. Go ahead.
He's wearing Peggy's like fucking leggings.
Oh,
for Married with Children.
Just the worst. He's got the worst look. He is literally PETA's number one on PETA's fucking hit list.
You know,
what
Fox
is Sony
allergic.
thinking about?
Sony, thank you. I'm sorry, poor Fox. I've been burying.
Fox, like, yo, man, leave us alone.
Sony, those fucking wretched fools, insist that it's not even good enough that they're scraping the fucking bottom of the toy aisle for these pieces of shit IPs, but then they insist that like they're all anti-heroes. Bitch, he is wearing a lion face vest. I don't like you, Kraven.
Simba is just sitting there like, anti what? You're an anti-who? Scar is more of an anti-hero than Kraven the Hunter. Okay? Give me a break.
You're just saying that because you want to be in charge of the kingdom when I inherit it.
Obviously.
Touche. No, it is just, you talk about grasping at fucking straws. I don't give a fuck who's playing him. This movie will be yet another. People talk shit, me included, about Snyder. If we start a separate category for Sony films in the superhero landscape, go fuck yourselves. Go fuck yourself, Sony.
I
No thanks.
the
No one loves
strongest
you.
terms that I could possibly put this in is that if you handed James Gunn this collection of this island of misfit toys that they have to play with and handed that to my boy James Gunn, he could cast his wife in every role and it still wouldn't be good. Like there's it's almost not there for it. Morbius was not good. Not far from one of my favorite
But it was
things.
Morbin time.
It's one of my favorite things to mock. I'll give him that. Like it's worth a conversation, but Charlie, I can't possibly imagine. And Homeboy, who you're talking about, was just great on the fucking train movie that had like cameos and then they killed him immediately.
Love that fucking. I forget his name.
Taylor somebody, like he was for kick ass. He's been great. He's like very much in the mix right now about the for the new James Bond. Like this is the type of movie that like we don't need to see this guy for a long time. Like he needs to be very very careful, obviously with the contracts he signs, but they need to start being careful about like people's careers. Like fucking
when they
Jared
sent
Leto,
him that contract. They sent him the
Jared
contract
Leto,
saying, like, you want to be a Spider-Man villain, buddy? And he was like, fuck yeah, I want to be a Spider-Man villain. They're like,
Spider-Man is like this
anti-hero?
big on the page, and like, villain is this big. Like, spin-off, like, I'm an anti-hero. Like, just, like... And the funny part is, Charlie, like, honestly, they might be the biggest villain in the entire Spider-Man franchise at this point, because they get good actors to be involved in these trash projects. Tom Hardy is without question one of the best working actors that we have right now.
He's also
Jared
Teflon, though,
because
those shit Venom movies have not affected him one iota. He's like, you don't like my movie? I'm gonna go join a tournament real quick. He joined the Mortal Kombat tournament and tore Sub-Zero's head off.
And
Fucking
he
ridiculous.
wins. So you want to tell me that he's not upset about some shit right now? Oh, he says that he's perfectly fine. Yeah, he's an actor. That's what actors do, bro.
Jonathan.
Of course he's going to come across like he doesn't care.
Damn.
But he cares. He
That's
cares.
so good.
Come
Well,
on, dude.
I got one more before we hit the road, and then if you have one, feel free to bust it out. We gotta bring it up. I feel like we invoke his name so often because we are switching religions to his camp. But that, of course, is Mission Impossible 43: Dead Reckoning. Has there ever been a franchise that has gained more fucking speed after its work? The first movie, fucking awesome. The second movie, disappointing but awesome. The third movie revitalizes. The fourth starts a new dimension. John, they've already released the big stunt from Dead Reckoning because they're so confident that this two-parter, because this is part one of a two-part, possibly conclusion to this current film version of Mission Impossible, they're so confident. They're like, look at this crazy little Scientologist doing crazy... This motherfucker high-fives Xenu without a parachute on a dirt bike and does a somersault.
You didn't know, bro? That's how you get to level 50. You have to motorcycle yourself actually up there to high-five the boy. I'm
going to be at level 3 for a long time. I'll be on the trampoline. Like, yo, what level is this? Because I am not jumping off a bike.
I got $10. What does that get me to? That's what
I know what a fan you are. I'm on record. The first Mission Impossible, I actually still think is one of the absolute best twists. It's such a good fucking twist, and it's a hat on a hat. They double twist it. The reveal for the twist counts as a hat. There's a hat wearing a chapeau wearing another hat in the fucking third act of the original Mission Impossible. I can defend Mission Impossible 2 based exclusively on that beautiful hair of Tom Cruise's and a killer soundtrack that is so of its day. You bring Limp Bizkit redoes the Mission Impossible theme, I'm gonna watch that movie. One of the best villain performances ever is in the Mission Impossible franchise. Dead Reckoning, the best name in the franchise.
It's just
so excited.
It's almost a guarantee. That's where the Mission Impossible franchise has brought us now, where like you kind of know what you're gonna get. And it's funny because Mission Impossible obviously is adapted from a TV show, and the best TV shows episodically, like this was great last week, this was great 2 weeks ago, this was great a month ago. Tonight it's going to be great, and that's how you're feeling with Mission Impossible. I can't really say the same thing about Mandalorian right now, but that's a topic for a different show.
You have become what you hate.
Oh, terrible, terrible. Jump the shark. But also as well as we know that we're going to love this Mission Impossible. And again, we're walking down that same road that we keep on seeming to find ourselves on. We know that these are the last 2 entries at least for the foreseeable future. A man, he got the one tooth in the middle. He can't keep on doing this. He's maybe got to think about another Top Gun movie. He can only spread himself all 5'5" of him so thin. I don't know, Charlie. Before we let the good people run, did you mention the Marvels?
I haven't. Why don't you finish? Let's finish off with the
Girl
Marvels.
power. So here we go. Actually, and there's one more on top of that. So the Marvels for anybody.
Look at you, hat on a hat.
Never doing that again. Yeah. So the Marvels is gonna give us the trifecta that we didn't ask for. Literally, no one asked for it. We have Captain Marvel, who's a boss, bro. She's no joke. Putting out just like ripped up, shredded physique. It really doesn't make a difference to me if nobody wants to work with her. I'll work with you.
She's burned all of her bras. I'll work with her for free.
I mean, she's good at what she does. Granted, one of the things she does is irritate her coworkers. Fine, that still leaves her at 100%. But we've got Miss Marvel.
My co-host annoys the shit out of me. Doesn't mean he doesn't make good product.
Son of a bitch. Miss Marvel, again, for me as a show, didn't work. I didn't enjoy it. I really don't care if I never see her again. But guess what? I'm gonna, because the Marvels is dropping in November. They're bringing another Marvel character. Again, I apologize because my computer shut the bed. But
Grand General Marvel, like they all just have military.
Basically, yeah, she's like Sergeant General. But yeah, they have another Marvel. I forget her name, character, but she in essence became a Marvelite during the events of WandaVision. But so now we're getting like the 3 of them pushed together. Okay, fine, so be it. Look, the truth of the matter is that when you have the disease that Charlie and I do, and that's the 4-color funny book, itis. We're going to see all of this stuff.
It's true.
We're going to report back to you what we thought about it. Did we like it? Did we not like it? Was it disappointing? Did it overachieve? Whatever the case. Was the font on the credits particularly exciting? Shit that you don't even care about. And in the same fucking department of shit that I don't care about. But we'll definitely see fucking Aquaman and the Lost Kingdom is, as far as I know, the last cinematic. Yeah, December 25th, Christmas Day. I don't know if it's going to be returnable, like most of the Christmas presents that we don't want. Oh, Sergeant Finesse, he must have heard his name being shouted out to the sky and reported to us. Sergeant, you're just here for the wrap-up. But yeah, so Aquaman and the Last Kingdom, hopefully it's Aquaman and the Last Aquaman movie, because I don't give 2 shits. If anything, the only thing that matters to me, Charlie, is that we have now freed up my man Jason Momoa to do what he was actually put on this earth to do. And I'm not talking about Lisa Bonet. I am talking about playing the man, the fucking guy from space with something to say. Lobo, baby. Jason Momoa was born to play Lobo. Sarge saying he's not seeing Dungeons and Dragons. I'm assuming that 7 was an and sign. Dungeons and Dragons next week. Then you're lucky that you missed some spoilers. Sarge, I can confidently say that you are going to very much enjoy the hell out. Oh, what's up, Tim? It's still here. Thank you very much for your hanging in with us. But yeah, Charlie, all I really care about with Aquaman is that our boy is freed up. Lobo is an outstanding character. When I first saw Momoa, I think maybe and the Sarge can attest to this because Sarge put me onto this show. Whatchamacallit? Goddamn, Stargate, the TV show. Yes. That's where I know Momoa from, like with the dreadlocks and the heavy eye makeup and shit. I'm like, yo, this guy would be a dope Lobo. And really, that's the best thing that I can say about Aquaman. I just cannot wait. I just can't wait for him to be done with this terrible responsibility that's been heaped on him, because the Snyderverse needs to just lay down in a ditch someplace, cover itself with some dirt, and just take a little nap. What about you? Are you excited about Aquaman, or you just can't wait for it to end? Are you like
right
me?
now, when it comes to DC, I'm all up. I hate to be this guy.
You are the guy.
I'm more excited for Blue Beetle than I am Flash. Let's get into the new DC cinematic universe.
The Flash
Let's get
is
some
gonna...
Puerto Rican superhero action up in my grill. Let's
the
do
Flash
this.
is gonna get us there, but you know what though? It does bring back.
We do have a Latina Supergirl, so I can fuck with Flash
for like
too.
5 minutes. For 5
Yeah,
minutes.
but that's okay.
Come on.
That's okay. She's gonna blow some shit up, hopefully.
Oh, and again, Johnny Legs. I do hope this gets back to Johnny Legs because having a Latina Supergirl, she's Kryptonian. What continents speak Spanish on Krypton?
But with the tan.
Give me a break.
Movies
well, they
that
get
I'm
their
gonna
powers
drag...
from the sun. That's automatically Puerto Rican. All Puerto Ricans get their power from the sun.
Touché.
This is known, man. This is known.
So you're saying we're Kryptonian? I'll fuck with that.
Movies
I'm gonna force my brother to see this year that you'll see reviews on all the shit we mentioned before, but also as well as the Super Mario Brothers movie, Evil Dead Rise, Ghosted, Guy Ritchie's The Covenant we're gonna peep out. Fast X, I'm gonna force my brother to watch. Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse. If we can avoid it, Rise of the Beasts, the Transformers movie. I don't want to see it. John don't want to see it. You let us know if you guys want to see it. Elemental looks fucking awesome, and I've been waiting for Pixar to return to form for years. Extraction 2, some shit I didn't even know. I didn't even remember I liked Extraction 1, but bring it on. Like we mentioned, Flash, Asteroid City. I think that's all the greatest hits that I can think of. If there's one you are desperate to see, let us know. But most importantly this week, you have to do the damn work like our good friend Demon Kogo, who's joining us over on Twitch right now. If you go and you follow us on Twitch, all you have to do is follow us on Twitch, which is free. It's free 99. You set up an account, you follow our ass. You take a picture to prove that you are following us on the purple site. You will be automatically entered to win not one, but you'll be entered to win one of 2 signed Kevin Smith posters from the very exclusive Clerks Open All Night event that John and I attended. Plus, don't forget,
0 hours that day for you people. For you. I sat there knowing, I was like, this is just to get that 30th follower over on Twitch. I hope it's worth it.
That's true. But don't forget, if we get those Twitch followers up, we will be giving away this year a fucking Proton Pack and wand. So let's get that followerage up. Let's get people involved so we can do a massive giveaway come the end of the year. That's all of our shit is USComics HQ. That's across all social media, all platforms. But John, there's only one way that we end each and every episode of US Comics, and I'm going to say it, but I need you to show the people with your hands, face, and neck region. Because first, we're going to turn the power on. Then we're going to turn the volume up. Then we're going to tune Bad Mary and open up the window wide and scream out into the night sky, "Say you're my space girl." We are